April 20. National census to hold in March 2003 after 16 years. And the U.S. approves $1 billion attack helicopter for Nigeria. On a foreign scene, a Russia flagship sinks after Kyiv claims missile hits. And now, welcome. I am Chituga Diamond. A governorship aspirant in Rivers State, Prince Toyin Princeville, has raised an alarm over the invasion of his home in Rivers State by a suspected assassin in the early hours of Friday. Princeville, in a statement he personally signed, said he was the target as the intruders headed straight for what they thought was his room during the attack. Thanking God for his life, Princeville noted that the incident will not deter him or his ambition to become governor of Rivers State. After waiting for 16 years, Nigeria will hold another national census between March and April 2023. In line with a resolution reached during the Council of State meeting held in Abuja, the meeting held on Thursday was chaired by President Muhammadu Buhari and was attended by heads of state Abdulsalami Abubakar, Goodluck Jonathan, and Yakubu Gowon, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, and the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, National Security Advisor Babagana Mungunu, and the Chief of Staff to the President, Professor Ibrahim Gambari, were also in attendance. Other issues discussed at the meeting include prerogative of mercy, which approved the granting of various levels of pardon by the President for 159 persons out of 162 initially selected for the purpose. Now, the All Progressive Congress National Working Committee has announced that the maiden post-national convention of its National Executive Committee will be held on Wednesday, April 20, 2023. This was disclosed in a statement signed by APC National Publicity Secretary Felix Mokra on Friday. According to the statement, the emergency NEC meeting, which will take place at the Congress Hall of Transcorp Hilton Hotel in Abuja, will commence at 10 a.m. An All Progressive Congress stalwart in Rivers State, Kingsley Akumefola, said the APC is making preparations towards the declaration of its governorship candidate for the 2023 general elections. He said the party recently had held a meeting of its major stakeholders from all local government areas in the state.
Of major stakeholders across in Rivers State, the All Progressive Congress is actually preparing. Just a few days ago, after the conventions, there was a meeting of major stakeholders across the local government areas. At least that meeting was about 20 persons from each local government area. They met here with the encountered the way forward. A lot of on-the-ground preparations are ongoing. What we are preparing for now is the declaration of our principal. And we would.
Speaking on the Easter festivities, another party stalwart, Honorable Good News Amadi, asked Christians to pray for good leaders. He also advised Christians to participate more in politics.
Not just pray for God to give us good leaders, and let Christians come more into politics. Thank you very much, sir.
Still talking politics, Dr. Timothy Ifediorama, a lawmaker representing Njikoka, one constituency in Anambra State, has called on Vice President Yemi Osinbajo and Bola Tinubu to give up their presidential ambitions for the Southeast. Ifediorama made his call on Friday when he spoke with newsmen in Oka, noting that by giving up their ambition, both political leaders will pave the way for justice, equity, and fairness. He said that both Tinubu and Oshibanjo are citizens of this country and are qualified to contest and become president of the country. He, however, urged the two leaders as the elder statesmen to top the path of justice, equity, and fairness by giving up their position for Southeastern to emerge. He added that when it was the turn of the Southwest after the annulment of the 1993 election and the death of Chief MKO Abiola, and Southeasterners gave their support to that zone. He urged that the Southwest had its fair share of being the president for 8 years and vice president for another 8 years, while the Southeast had not had its turn of being the president of this country, though it has sacrificed by supporting the North, the Southwest, and the South. The members of the National Assembly are set to relocate from their main chambers to a temporary venue for plenary as renovation of the National Assembly complex begins. This was disclosed in a statement by the Special Advisor on Media and Labor to the Clerk of the National Assembly, Adesoro Austin. Austin said that as the renovation commences, senators will conduct a plenary temporary at Committee Room 022 on the ground floor of the new Senate building, while House of Representatives members will also use the special committee room on the ground floor of its new winged as plenary venues. The statement said that the contractor has 60 months to execute the job, with alternative arrangements in place for plenary sitting, and members of the House of Representatives are expected to utilize the halls on the first and second floor of the House of Representatives new building. You're watching in Global News here on OneTV Network. We go for a break. There will be more report after this time out. Just stay with us.
Done so much for me, I cannot tell it all.
TV Global News. The federal government said that it has opened a channel of discussion with terrorists who abducted passengers on the Kaduna-Abuja road train in March 2022. This was disclosed by Dr. Jumo Fatai, who has been designated as chairman of the group pressing for the release of the abducted passengers after the Federal Executive Council meeting held on Wednesday. According to Fatai, the relatives of the abducted passengers heard from the Minister of Information and Communication, Lai Mohammed, that the government is in dialogue with abductors. Dr. Fatai expressed happiness over the government's move, noting that the affected families are now appealing to the federal government to speed up the process. Government that the channel discussion with the terrorists has been opened. Now, the Independent National Electoral Commission on Friday announced the suspension of the continuous voter registration in centers across Imo State. The decision came barely 15 hours after it received Another report of mayhem in the Ihite Uboma local government area from its resident electoral commissioner, Professor Emeka Ezono, on the killing by gunmen of one INEC officials, Anthony Nwokore, involved in the continuous voter registration exercise. INEC National Commissioner and Information Voter Education Committee Chairman Festus Okoye made the latest announcements in a statement issued in Abuja, the nation's capital. And meanwhile, the indigenous people of Biafra says that its members are not the gunmen who attacked and killed an ad hoc staff of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, in Imo State. IPOB said enemies of Biafra are responsible for the attack that killed an INEC official. The group warned that those behind the act to stop because they would not be allowed to continue terrorizing the people of the Southeast. A statement by the group spokesman, Emma Powerful, warned that those responsible for such attack would be dealt with. And a gunman had killed one policeman in invasion of Isofia community, the hometown of the Anambra State Governor, Professor Charles Soludo. The incident, confirmed by a senior police officer in the state, occurred near a security post at the junction leading to the governor's house. Angered by the idea of building a security post at the junction, the hoodlums stormed the area, shooting non-stop, forcing residents to scamper for safety. It was gathered that Soludo traveled abroad to have a little rest before the gunmen struck on Friday morning. And still talking insecurity in the country, 4 adopted students of Zamfara State College of Health Science and Technology have regained their freedom. The deputy provost of the college, Jemalu Lawani, confirmed their release to newsmen. According to Lawani, the 4 female students who were released by their doctors on Thursday at a location close to Sifa town. He said no ransom was paid for their release, adding that the 4 students are currently at an undisclosed hospital receiving medical treatment. The United States of America State Department has cleared the sale of 12 AH-1Z Cobra attack helicopters worth nearly $1 billion to Nigeria, apparently after the U.S. lawmakers lifted objections over human rights concerns in the country. The Defense Security Cooperation Agency announced the sale of the helicopters and related defense system to the Nigerian military. The package includes $25 million for human rights-related training of military personnel. The sale includes the Bill-made Corporal Helicopter 28 General Electric-made T-700 engines, 2,000 advanced precision kill weapon systems used to combat unguided missiles, amongst others. As part of measures to beef up for security in the Federal Capital Territory, police authorities have deployed 2,336 officials for the Easter celebrations. The police public relations officer of the FCT Command, DSP Josephine Ada, disclosed this via a statement issued on Friday. She said the FCT Commissioner of Police, Babaji Sunday, called on Christians to embrace peace, tolerance for one another, and persons of other faith, adherence to law and order, and most importantly, patriotism. While assuring residents that the command has taken deliberate steps to deploy robust security architecture, the commissioner charged operatives to ensure that there is watertight security at all places of worship and effective foot and vehicle patrol to parks as well as recreational and entertainment centers in the city. Now, still on Easter celebration, Easter is a joyous celebration. Christians celebrate the restoration of Jesus Christ from the death after his crucifixion.
Easter is known for the death of Jesus Christ and his resurrection. Without Easter, there wouldn't be any need for Christianity. The death of Jesus Christ brought total freedom, total liberation, total safety for humanity, the entire world as a whole. That is what Easter means.
It means salvation. Jesus brought salvation to us.
I mean the time Jesus Christ resurrected from death. This is the time of giving. This is the time of joy.
As a Christian, Easter means to me the resurrection, the death and burial of Christ.
Our correspondent on the street of Port Harcourt interacts with some residents who complain bitterly about the hike in the prices of foodstuff and cost of transportation.
You still have affect the price of foodstuff because the things like the things they were selling 300 before, now they are selling 500 naira. I drive within Eba Belerumujindele as a driver. The Easter celebration is fine, but as a driver, due to the cost of things, we are not seeing passenger. That's why we are just resting. Look at our park, every house empty.
And the people are not buying because no money. Money no day. You see how everywhere just day. We carry market, nobody buy them. The one where you supposed to say 500, they go price you 300. If you not take time, they don't waka go.
The prices are still normal because since has increased, it's still normal. But due to hardship, people are not coming in to buy. If I thought that buyers are coming, I wouldn't have this chance to speak with you. There is nothing is happening in this our country. The country is just messed up. We that we are selling, as you can see, there is nobody here to patronize us. We are just through ourselves all day. Nothing is coming out. Things are very expensive in the market. Can't lay your hand on anything. They increase the price. Like where I'm going to buy this market, formerly I paid 200 naira from my tree to broker, but now I pay 300 naira. It's a fact. Rice too, we bought 120, now it's 150. So everything is very expensive. Let government help us. We are dying.
The Inspector General of Police, Usman Alkali Baba, has approved the promotion of 21,039 junior police officers who were last promoted in 2017 or before that year. This is coming a few weeks after some officials threatened to embark on strike action over poor condition of service. In a statement, Force spokesman Olumuyiwa Adejobi said the junior officers promoted were 20,572 sergeants who moved to the next rank of inspector, 324, beg your pardon, corporals promoted to sergeant, and 143 constables promoted to the rank of corporal. According to Adejobi, the promotion was part of ongoing effort to improve the welfare and conditions of service in the force, as well as boosting the morale of personnel to enhance efficiency. The police spokesman stated that the exercise was part of the IGP's manpower development drive to ensure that the serving officers were promoted accordingly, adding that the idea was to encourage hard work and further promote the culture of merit, excellence, and dedication to duty. He noted that the force head high command was liaising with the Police Service Commission on the release of promotions of senior police officers. The controller Nigerian Immigration Service Murtala Mohammed Airport Commander Lagos, Kemi Nadbar, has warned officers against indulging in sharp practices. In a statement issued on Friday by the command's public relations officer, Louisa Amadikuru, the controller pledged to implement the roadmap of the Acting Controller General of Immigration in surgery in fighting corruption in the service. She warned that any officer at the command caught engaging in swindling or air travelers or attempting to put the name of a service in disrepute would be dealt with accordingly. According to her, the essence of training officers is to ensure that officers are well equipped for the job ahead. The Minister of Federal Capital Territory, Mohammed Musa Bello, has expressed his support for the war against drug trafficking in his visit to Chairman and Chief Executive of the NDLEA, Brigadier General Mohammed Buba Marwa, retired, at the agency's national headquarters in Abuja. In his welcome remark, General Marwa thanked the minister for his unflinching support for the agency and commended him for his good work in the nation's capital territory. He said the NDLEA has remained standfast with outstanding performance in drug control effort across the country to save the youth, families, and communities from the drug switch. He said with 10% drug use prevalence in Abuja, the agency has remained on the offensive against the cartel in the capital territory with the arrest of 142 suspects, conviction of 53 offenders, 66 users cancelled and rehabilitated, and 760 kilometers of illicit substance seized, all within the first 3 months of the year. In his response, the minister granted the request by the NDLEA boss and promised a formidable partnership that would school the FCT against the menace of drug abuse and illicit drug trafficking. The Council of State held by President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the pardon of 159 convicts, including our former governor of Plateau State, Senator Joshua Darie, and ex-governor Jolly Yama of Taraba State, who were both in prison for stealing 1.16 billion naira and 1.6 billion naira respectively. Confirming Darie's pardon, the Plateau State Commissioner for Information, Dan Manjang, told newsmen that the ex-governor had been given a second chance. The Director of Press and Public Affairs Government House, Dr.